Lawyers that have been working pro bono to try to reunite children who had been separated from their families during the Trump administration have apparently succeeded in reuniting 105 children in the past month, which is an amazing thing. That is 105 miracles right there. It does, however, mean that there are still 506 children who have been identified as having been separated but have not yet been reunited. So it is a drop of, I'm not good at math, 18%, 20%, something like that.
Yeah.
That is certainly, Dr. Rashad Richey, that is good for 105 different families. That is an amazing update there.
All right, great update for those families. Okay, we are thankful for those families. But here's where the Biden administration should step up and step up strong. I had the pleasure of interviewing Doug, who's Vice President Kamala Harris's husband. He's the second gentleman of the United States. And I asked him, I said, listen, what are you going to do as the second gentleman? Every time you guys, you pick something that you want to do. He said he wanted to lead an army of pro bono lawyers to right wrongs in the United States of America. That's great. Man, I love that expression. I love the spirit behind it. He is a world-class attorney, made millions of dollars being a lawyer. Good stuff, right? But this is where the disconnect exists, in my opinion, between the Biden administration and doing something that is holistically good. There are things that the administration can do right now to make it easier to reunite these families. And we have to hold them accountable to this. Here's what we're doing. This is the other way to look at it, John. You got 400 or 500 kids still not united with their families. You know what you're doing with those kids? You're creating future enemies of this state. They will never have a good or decent feeling about the United States of America if you get this wrong. We don't need to create future enemies. We don't need to create individuals based on our own policies who will grow up detesting the United States of America when we have the ability to correct, to right the wrong by the stroke of a pen. The Biden administration needs to get involved and get involved big.
Yeah, and they are getting involved. I'm not sure that it's necessarily, it would qualify for you for it being big, but they're getting involved a little bit. So we'll see. Let me quickly mention though that there's two bits of bad news here. So one is that over 500 kids are still separated, and those are the kids that have been identified. Remember, the record keeping was purposefully sloppy. God only knows how many kids were actually separated. The other is that those 105 kids that have been reunited are not now fine. Like it's all good. It didn't happen. Those are 105 kids that are going to be affected to differing levels for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
This is one of there's a lot of damage that can be repaired that was done during the Trump administration, but there's some that can be sort of corrected, but never actually erased. There's certain stuff that you can't put back in the bottle once you've taken it out. And the trauma that many of these kids and their families will experience, that's permanent. So let's bear that in mind. We can appreciate the good news that they've been reunited, but they were still separated for months, 4 years, possibly, and many still are.
Yep. And that's the sad reality of policies like this. And yeah, a lot of the blame obviously belongs to Donald J. Trump himself. But at some point in the very near future, this will be the administration's fault, or at least a standard for them to correct it. And so, it's moving the way it should move, in my opinion. I would like to see it move faster.
Yeah, so they've set up this task force to put it under the control of the federal government, which means it wasn't before.
Which is insane.
Whose fault was it? It was the Trump administration that did it. But anyway, good, another good thing of getting Biden in. But one of the issues is many of the families, and particularly the parents of the kids who remain to be reunited, are not in the US. And assuming we can track them down, and for many we will not be able to, because again, the Trump administration didn't care to actually track this information. They're abroad right now. So the deputy director of the ACLU's Immigrants' Rights Project is saying now that the Biden task force should commit to bringing the deported parents back to the US under special protections to reunite with their children, which, look, I think is an objective good. But if you're not yet convinced, bear in mind, a large number of those parents were deported as the result of an agreement made with the Trump administration, where the Trump administration said, we're gonna deport all of you, but if you will willingly go, we'll let your kids stay. So that is an insane thing to say, an insane decision to put onto these parents, onto these families. And a lot of good could be done to repair that if the Biden administration were to create some sort of special protection for these parents to be brought back into the United States to bring the families together. I know that Republican heads are exploding all over the country, but I think that seems reasonable.
Yeah, it seems very reasonable. We're talking about a few hundred families, right? And at some point, America really does have to be the example they proclaim they are, not only to other Americans, but to the rest of the world. If we really want to be that shining city on the hill, these are things that will take you there. And let's not get caught up in this whole immigration thing. First of all, Reagan is the guy who said everybody should stay here. He's the one, a Republican is the one who initially signed an amnesty executive order, amnesty bill. He did that. Beyond the immigration discussion with these children, just remember, every time we talk about undocumented workers in the United States of America and we criminalize them, well, there's a federal statute that does say, hey, if you work in the United States and you don't have documentation, it is illegal. But the subsection to that same federal statute says, if you hire them, it's illegal as well. It's part of the same statutory legal language in the federal law. How many times have we seen hundreds of workers being arrested at a warehouse, undocumented individuals, but we didn't see the CEO being arrested. We didn't see the CFO being arrested. We didn't see the hiring manager being arrested. We only saw the poor brown people being arrested. And the same federal statute that says what they did is illegal is the same federal statute that says hiring them is illegal. So I don't get caught up in the hypocrisy of the immigration argument.
Yeah, that's always been an amazing thing where both sides of that are technically illegal. Technically,
yeah.
And that's about it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.